Good morning. Let's all take a few deep breaths together. Just keep letting that beautiful song sink into our hearts and our minds. I am here, Lord. What are we here for in this moment? Isn't that a magnificent question? Firstly, I want to say thank you for welcoming us back here. We used to live here in Santa Barbara. I recognize many of your faces and hearts. Please forgive me if I don't always remember your name. Noreen, of course, we always remember. And I see some of you who were at Mary Ellen Kelly's love gathering yesterday to celebrate her life. So this place is full of memories for us, beautiful memories. And it's wonderful to come back here today to share a very special story with you because you, Santa Barbara Unity, are prominent in this story. But I'd like to start with a poem. And I forgot. I bring you greetings from Unity of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, the church that I have served for 10 years. So this poem was first brought to me by Mary Ellen Kelly, who worked for years with the Omega program. She was my programmer at City College, where I taught for a while. It's a poem from Meister Eckhart, and it's entitled, Love Does That. All day long, a little burro labors, sometimes with heavy loads on her back, and sometimes just with worries about things that bother only burros. And worries, as we know, can be more exhausting than physical labor. Once in a while, a kind monk comes to her stable and brings a pair. But more than that, he looks into the burro's eyes and touches her ears, and for a few seconds, the burro is free, and even seems to laugh, because you see, love does that. Love frees. And so part of what I think we're all doing here, not only this morning, but right now in the world and on the planet, we are called to touch one another. Maybe not always rub one another's ears, but to touch one another with our presence and with our words, with our encouragement. That's what we're doing here in this time of what David and I call miracle shifts for shifting times. Would you say that we are living in shifting times? And I congratulate all of us for saying yes to be here at this time, to be a part of the transformational process that's going on in our hearts and minds. So here's the story that includes you, Santa Barbara Unity. And I want you to take a deep breath with me because it's a powerful story that speaks to the healing of all of us and of our generations. You might know that I'm from the South. And when I left the South to come here to Santa Barbara to be with David, and then we went on to Ashland, Oregon, and many other places where we've lived in our journey, I never thought that I would return to the South for many reasons. But in about 1998 or 99, we spoke here at this church. We did a workshop in the afternoon like we're doing today, a different workshop. We've learned a few things in 20 years. We were doing a workshop, and then the next day a woman came to do a private session together with me. And this woman, a beautiful African-American woman, she walked into the appointment and she sat down and she looked at me and she said, take a deep breath. She said, I can't stand you. That's what I did. And then she went on to say, your Southern accent reminds me of the white men around whom my beautiful educated father would become very small. Your accent represents something that I grew up being very afraid of. She said, I will never return to that place in the South. I will never return to that place, and you remind me of that place. Now, all of us have had these transformative moments. We know these moments when if we don't speak what's in our heart, if we don't do what Spirit is guiding us to do, here I am, Lord. Where am I needed, Lord? I was shaking inside as I realized that I held on to a shameful family secret, and now was the moment to speak it. To this woman with beautiful ebony skin. I looked into her eyes and I said, you need to hear this, and I need to speak it for my ancestors and yours. My grandfather was a member in his early life of the Ku Klux Klan. And he told me 2 weeks before he died that he had done things that God would never forgive him for. I looked into her eyes, and she was in her transformative moment. And we both understood together that her generations and my generations were a part of this moment where truth was being spoken. And it was a time of healing for her, for me, and for our generations. Let's take another deep breath. You see, a lot of us don't remember always that we're not only here for our own awakening, we are here to impact all the souls with whom we are connected. Those who have gone before us and those yet to come. And certainly all those with whom we're sharing the journey right now. So now let's fast forward to 2015. You see, we put this story in our book, Dare to Dream. It became a story that healed me, that transformed me. So it was no longer a secret. We put it in the book for everybody to read. And I've told it at my church in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina a few times. It's a powerful story. Several weeks ago, something happened in Charleston, South Carolina that you've probably heard about. And what's happening in South Carolina now is incredible. The shifts that are happening in minds and hearts. And I'm so grateful to be there. 1 hour away from Charleston, we're living in the Bible Belt. The place I didn't want to be living, but God said, we're going to need you over here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And having been there 10 years now, and having done racial relations forums in our church, we have been creating an energy of healing. Then several weeks ago, something catapulted our area, our state, into a whole new level of healing. So after the Charleston shootings, I was invited to do prayer vigils in AME churches. And the first AME church I got up and spoke at, I realized that I was shaking so much inside that something big was getting ready to happen. That what had started here at Santa Barbara Unity, the arc of that moment that I was able to speak the shameful family secret into the eyes of someone who represented that healing with me, the arc of that a few weeks ago as I spoke at that prayer vigil, shaking so much more than an earthquake. And I got up into that sea of faces, most of them black. I spoke the story. I said, my grandfather was a member of the Ku Klux Klan. Gratefully, his life changed. Gratefully. I didn't have to grow up with that kind of hatred. His life changed. He actually became a minister. So my family was not touched by that hate, but you see, when the generations carry a shameful secret, it touches everybody until the moment of truth is allowed to happen. And so I looked into their eyes and I told them this story. And I said, and now for my generations and your generations, I say to you, I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. They leapt to their feet. They applauded for what seemed like forever. We were weeping together. They were not applauding because I was demonstrating some particular skill of public speaking. They applauded the moment of truth that was being spoken. And again, I said, my generations and your generations are healing together. I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. A miracle shift for shifting times. And one of the AME ministers went to the microphone and he said, truth has been spoken. So I invite you here today to ask in your own heart, what is the truth that wants to be spoken about your life, about your calling, about your awareness of transformation and healing? Right now in the South is huge, what's happening. But you see, that same kind of shift is happening globally. Whatever we hold hatred about, whatever we hold separation about, the shifts are happening everywhere. So what is your particular shift that heals your generations, all those gone before, all those yet to come, all those around you right now? I applaud you for saying yes. I applaud you for being here right now in these times of shifts. Namaste.
So in the midst of these shifts, what is a shift? A shift is a change, and change is constant on this planet. And we're at a choice point every time a shift comes our way. We can embrace the shift, be open to learn its message to us, and move forward in our life, which is what our heart would do. Or we could fight it, run from it, be afraid of it, which is what our ego would do. If we make the choice to embrace the shifts and learn from them, and we do that consistently, we get a major benefit from that. We get to stand tall in our truth. And truth is far more powerful than any egoic fear that we could ever have. And so I want to tell you a story about standing tall in our truth. In 1991, I was living here in Santa Barbara, and Margaret was living in Florida, and we were long-distance friends. And she came out in 91 to do some work out here, and our whole relationship changed. And we fell in love, and she went back to Florida, packed her bags, and moved out to California. And we got married, and we did a workshop in Ventura, at Ventura Unity Church. And the title of the workshop was called Earthquakes and Godquakes, Making the Shifts on All Levels. Well, we all know what happens in California. Right in the middle of the workshop, the floor starts rolling like this. The walls are going like this, and everybody just sat there and stared at us. Well, I knew what was happening. I had been in California for a while. I knew we were in an earthquake, and I was used to several earthquakes that were shakers. This was a roller. It was a different kind. But I knew what was happening, and so did everybody else in the audience except for my wife, Margaret. She had it in her mind that when we had an earthquake, it would be a shaker, and everybody would do something to deal with it. But nobody did anything, and so she didn't have anywhere to put this. And she looks at the people, and she goes, "What's going on?" I don't know why she was whispering. And they said, "We're having an earthquake." She got even more confused, and she says, "Well, aren't you people supposed to do something? Aren't you supposed to get under a door jamb or a table or something when we're having an earthquake?" And they said, "Well, you just got through telling us if you stand tall on your truth, you're not going to be shaken out of that truth no matter what happens." And she said, "You people believe this stuff?" Right in the middle of a 6.0 earthquake, everybody just sat there and stared at us. But nobody got hurt. The building was literally going like this. Nobody got hurt. No damage to the church. So we got to see firsthand the truth of that teaching. And believe me, with all that's going on the planet now, divine is knocking on our door, asking us, will we be willing to stand tall in our truth in our hearts no matter what's going on? And if we choose to do that, we get a major benefit from it. About 7 years ago, I was speaking about standing tall in our truth at the Unity of Louisville. And I was talking about how powerful our heart was, how powerful our beliefs were, especially in conjunction with our subconscious mind. And what can happen in our lives if we stand tall in our truth. And this guy comes up to me after my talk and he says, you know, with what you're talking about and what you believe in, have you heard of this technique that the divine has brought to the planet that's called Psych-K, psychological kinesiology? And he said, this is about subconscious programming, about implanting directly into the subconscious mind positive belief systems to activate positive behaviors, because that's what the subconscious mind does. And he dropped 2 names. He said, Bruce Lipton and Greg Braden are really involved with subconscious programming. And these are 2 heavy hitters that I have great thoughts about. And he said, look this up on the computer and check it out, because I think this is be something really important for you in your life. So I did, and I was really impressed with what I saw. So I decided to be trained in it. And at my very first training, the facilitator of the Psych-K said, is there anybody here in our audience that's had an experience that was really difficult for you and you never really understood it or were able to heal it? And it's just reoccurred over and over and over again. And so I raised my hand. And so she said, well, what happened? And I said, a long time ago, I was living in Daytona Beach, Florida, and I was playing sports. And I got hit on the back of the neck and knocked out. And when I came to, I had an excruciating headache. The pain radiated down my neck into my back, and they would spasm, and I would be in agony. And I tried every known therapy you could ever imagine to heal this, and nothing worked. And so the pain persisted for week after week, month after month, and literally year after year. And every time I got in the car to go do a talk or a workshop, after I'd driven for about an hour or so, the pain would radiate down my neck and my back, and I would be in agony by the time I got there. And this just kept happening over and over and over again. And I said, I have to be able to heal this. I can't figure it out. And so she took me back to the actual time of trauma. I revisited that. And we came up with the belief system that I took on at the time of trauma that was activated in my subconscious that created the behavior of recreating this pain over and over and over again. And this is the belief system that I took on. And I'm not proud of it, but some of you will actually relate to this. I was one of those old-fashioned athletes that believed in and played sports to the hilt, believing that no pain, no gain. I played it to the hilt. Unfortunately, that belief system was so deeply embedded into my subconscious mind, and I wasn't aware of it consciously, that every time I got in that car to go and do a talk or a workshop, that belief system would reactivate itself, causing all the pain. And what its message was to me, that I couldn't do anything and be successful without creating pain. Huge. When that light went on, I thought, oh my goodness, no wonder I couldn't heal this. I had to understand it. So with the Psych-K technique, we implanted directly into the subconscious a new belief system. And this belief system was something like this. Everything that I do, my energy will flow, I will feel really good, and I will be highly successful. Very different belief system than no pain, no gain. With the Psych-K technique, she put that into the subconscious, checked it to see if the subconscious accepted it, and it did. And I'm here to tell you, after years and years of having that pain, in 10 minutes, it was gone. Literally gone, and it has not come back. So I began to realize the importance and the power of our subconscious mind, because it literally creates our behavior. And there's two different behaviors that it can create. If the subconscious mind is in alignment with our ego, the part of us that lives in fear and survival, it will create a self-defeating behavior. If the subconscious mind is in alignment with our heart, it will create a positive, productive behavior. And it will reoccur over and over and over again. But it doesn't stop there. It will then send that message out to the universe, which I call the big genie. And the big genie says, so be it. Whatever we send out to it in the form of belief system, it sends back to us in the form of experience, something to match the belief system. So if we send egoic, self-defeating beliefs out, it says so be it and brings back egoic, self-defeating experiences. If we send positive, productive heart beliefs out, it sends back to us positive, productive experiences. So this is how we literally create our reality. We can create a difficult reality, or we can create a positive, productive reality. The choice is ours. And in Unity, we hear all the time that we are responsible for creating our reality. And this is how we do it. So knowing that, it makes us highly responsible for us to create a more positive reality for ourselves. Why? It's not just for our own well-being, because we are all literally energetically connected with each other and with the planet. So the reality that we create for ourselves affects our neighbors and also the planet itself. And if you look out there, it's easy to see with all the fear on the planet that a lot of people are experiencing egoic survival and fear in their own personal lives. Our job, our mission, if we choose to accept it, is to be high holy vision holders, stand tall in our truth, think and believe in positive reality, and send that message out to the universe to bring back that experience. Because it doesn't only enrich our lives, it enriches those around us and the planet itself. And the planet is crying out for our help right now. Psyche is one of the techniques that can assist us in creating a positive reality for ourselves. It's very powerful. I've been working with it for about 7 years now. I've seen amazing things happen. We're actually going to do that in the workshop. Every person that comes to the workshop, you will have a belief system of your choice literally put into your subconscious mind, and we will test it to be sure that it accepted it, so that the reality will be created to go along with that belief system. That's one of the things we're going to do in the workshop. I worked with the South Carolina baseball team. I've worked with a lot of people. And what I've realized is if our alignment with our heart and our subconscious is in perfect synchronicity, anything's possible. And the Christ said that we could do all of the things that he did and even greater. I believe that this is how we can accomplish that. Aligning our heart with our subconscious mind on a consistent basis. That way we're consistently attracting a positive reality. And it affects us and those around us and the planet itself. This is what we're going to do this afternoon in the workshop. It's really powerful. Amazing things happen. We're also going to do some angelic healing and all kinds of storytelling, and it will be a powerful experience. Please pray about it. One of my dreams and one of my deepest desires in life is to create peace on this planet. I spent a year in Vietnam a long time ago. I know the opposite of peace. That's not the answer at all. And so ever since then, I've prayed about, I've believed in, I envisioned peace on this planet. We can contribute to that peace by living in our hearts. And Psyche is a powerful technique to help us do just that. About 3 years ago, I was speaking at the Unity of Greenville, South Carolina. And I met a media specialist that has the same vision as me. And so together we decided, what can we do to help to contribute peace on the planet? So we decided to create a business called Mind Power Dynamics. And in that, we've so far created 6 subliminal programming CDs to literally put positive messages of a different variety, and the title of each CD is about what the messages are, directly into the subconscious mind for anybody, anywhere to do this, so that more and more people are thinking heart-loving, peaceful thoughts. We have those 6 CDs out on our table. They're very powerful, and they really activate some positive belief systems and the knowing of who we are. So pray about the possibility of having one of those. On Monday, we're going to do private sessions, including Psych K sessions, to help you to really activate a high truth for yourself in your life and to live that reality. Remember this: you are God's dream come true. Believe it. Thank you. God bless you.